We're going to call this series that I'm going to start the Tailgate Files. Of all the failures and stuff that I'm dealing with lately, I just complained about Holly, uh, Rough Country. I bought one of these 5-year warranty. I took it out of the box. I'll take you over. And it leaks. Not the fitting. Right here. See it leaking down the... It's leaking right there. I don't know if they glued that or that's semen or whatever they put on there. And it's leaking up through the top of it. So whatever, then when they heat treated it, that's like a heat shrink, that stuff. So when they put that on there, that's a heat shrink. So they fucked up when they did it. They burnt, the temperature must have been too hot, and it kind of catalyzed that material that they're using. It's kind of a nylon. I don't know what they call it. They call it, when it's bullshit, when the material's called bullshit, you want to look for 3 words. The number 1 word is composite material. The other one is when it says made of recycled materials. And the other one is when it's gibberish that you can't look up or understand on the internet, because they have a couple of bullshit words out for basically remanufactured, heat-treated garbage. And that stuff is very susceptible to the sun's UV. Okay, especially since they're destroying our upper atmosphere at a rapid rate to prove there's global warming that they made. We already know that. But I bought this HEI distributor that's in the truck. But let's go over the first thing that's wrong with this. I mean, there's misspellings in there. Okay, tighten down the hold down bolt. It's supposed to be hold down bolt. Okay, let alone it doesn't even tell you about where to adjust the vacuum advance, how to adjust it. There's nothing in the box. This was it. And an 18 Performance, let us know. Give us a thumbs up on Facebook. I bought Southwest Performance products for a long time now, but it's getting worse and worse and worse. If you're a newcomer to this hobby, and say you live out in a remote area, and you definitely could run a hot rod on those roads out there. I see these guys, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Idaho, Wisconsin. There's a lot of open road, and if you just want to dump the pedal, there ain't many cops around to even bother you. So if you're a young guy and you buy this shit, you get it out of the box, how the hell do I adjust it? There's people still living in this country. I didn't have wireless internet since I lived here. I just got wireless internet, and it's T-Mobile, and it really sucks. It works half-assed when it wants to, just like Verizon. That's number 2. Number 3 is the instructions for this Holley quick fuel carburetor. Okay? I'm going to show you the first mistake, that if somebody takes this carburetor out of the box, it says that's where your spark advance is on the bottom of the, there's 2 ports in the front of the carburetor. Now, the Nugget at Summit told me they were in back of the carburetor. The front of the carburetor is where the fuel goes in. Even if it's a double pump, there's an entry, there's a front of the carburetor, okay? That's the first thing, because that's not where the spark advance is. These instructions aren't even for this goddamn carburetor, and they're wrong. That is not spark advance. There's your spark advance, but it's not even marked, okay? There's a port that goes in the side of the quick fuel carburetor. Holly Ann's doing just fine. This is where your spark advance, okay? Because if you hook it to any of those, okay, which are under here, those 2 ports that I was showing you in the instructions, if you hook this hose there, it's going to pull your advance. It's too fast. It's too fast. Now, let's cover something else. I ordered the Southwest Performance air cleaner, which, let me get it, okay? Let me get the air cleaner. This looks drop dead beautiful on my truck under the hood. It really does. And it's not really cheaply made. But if you end up like me, needing a riser, which most Holley and Edelbrock carburetors, they need a riser. You see what I had to do? See, it says Summit on it. They can't even make a fucking riser adapter the right size for an air cleaner. None of these companies get together. Which brings me to my point. Not many people today even know what this is. ASTMI. What is that? I speak of it in a lot of my videos. It's what we've gotten away from, and it's what's wrecking this country. That is the American Standards of Technical Measurements and Increments. You see, years ago, that used to be on about 80% of the products you would buy, especially automotive, especially electrical, technical, boiler devices, heating devices, air conditioners. Not to mention, it meets United States, the UL laboratories, the United Laboratories specifications and safety directives. That shit's out the window with China. And so is quality control. Okay? The other day, I take a water pump out of the box. Not that I need to read the instructions, but like I said, if you're new to automotive and the economy's getting harder and you want to put a water pump on your truck, and you take the instructions, because a mine like mine gets struck like it got hit over the head with a brick, that you don't spell water pimp. It's a warning sign to me. I put the fucking thing back in the box, and I went and I ordered a Gates pump. The Gates pump came. There wasn't even any instructions, and that's what's wrong with half of this. If you're new to automotive and you want to do something, take the initiative and learn something, because there's single mothers that have sons and daughters, and they work together as a team, but the mom's not a mechanic. You know, but maybe the kid's ambitious, and maybe he is handy with a wrench, but there might be certain aspects of a product that you really need to know about. Like when I took that out, like a lot of us, I don't particularly, I started my automotive business in hot rods. I've never seen an internally adjusted vacuum advance like that one. Most of them were adjusted inside the the distributor. Now, a vacuum advance for like a transmission, the vacuum module, it has a screw on the inside. And that, I think, you turn it clockwise, lighter to shift, you know, and you turn it counterclockwise, it shifts sooner, okay? Those are the things, okay, that you have to really research, okay? That's why internet is great, and it's almost mandatory today. Most businesses, most mechanics, you don't know everything. And like my son, he said it. Dad, you did that before for me. I didn't remember how to do something. And I said, that's right. I said to my son, I said, I forgot more than most of these assholes will ever know, especially the ones behind the parts counter. They're dealing with the stuff every day, and they don't even know anything about the product. Okay? There was a reason why they dumbed down and ruined America. Okay? So I'm going to upload this, and let this be a warning about buying Holley products or anything from Summit Racing. Okay? Their customer service in all the industries, even the directions that would save you from a stupid question, because there is no such thing as a stupid question. Their customer service has slid into the fucking toilet. The entire automotive industry has slid into the fucking toilet. There's guys at the dealerships. I took a friend's car, okay? She didn't want to talk to him. They insulted her when she took the vehicle there. They're the only game in town to work on the Fords here is this Barber Ford. And the guy got snide with me, and I told him, I says, you talk to me like that again, I'm going to punch you in the fucking mouth. Well, I ended up taking the freaking car for almost a 100-mile ride out to Reading. I took it to another dealer. The guy sweet-talked me. He says, we've had reports about them. This area here is really affected. I mean, it's the most uneducated bunch of barbarians I've ever met. Not to mention, like I said, most of them now no longer speak English. Don't even, or if they do, they don't comprehend English. And I'm sorry, I'm not racist prejudice. But when you're dealing with a technical product, okay, and you have a question, and a guy there standing behind the counter is a guy that has the IQ of a potato chip, okay, it makes the industry, it's a reflection on the entire industry, especially advanced auto parts, okay? Most of these companies, they have one or two guys that's handling the entire store because they're the only ones that know what's going on, and the other meatheads are wandering around like they're in some kind of goddamn trance. I've seen it. I've been to this advanced, and not all the stores are like that. But as you try to get people to work for nothing and pay basically a slave labor wage selling parts made in a slave labor country, it's a recipe for disaster. It's like plugging in you're plugging in your plug and getting, because it's like that to me every time. I get shit out of the box. There's no instructions, or the instructions are all misspelled, or they're garbled, or they're jumbled. A water pimp. That's a warning sign to a guy like me. I'm not putting a water pimp in my truck. Hey, you know what I mean? Delco, GM, okay? Maybe it was, the part was probably made in Mexico. They make stuff in Mexico now, and a lot of Delco parts are coming out of China, especially the electronics. Buyer beware. So anyway, I'm going to upload this again, and let this be a warning about the automotive products, because the industry really has hit the skids. I got to polish and port an intake over there in between getting my grass cut. I got up late. At this age, I don't handle stress very well, folks. Okay? Especially when I want to reach through the phone and rip somebody's fucking head off. That is not a good thing. Okay? I've got an exhaust job I got to do. But anyway, we're going to get a lot of that carbon and stuff out of there, and that's a lot of hard work. I actually made my own device. Uncle Dutch made his own. I made a ball hone, okay? Basically out of, how to put it, like steel wool and cardboard, and I glued it together, and it actually works pretty good for that sort of stuff. I glued sandpaper actually over it's steel wool. You can also get one of those round steel brushes, but they don't last that well. I gotta go. The dump truck is coming.